So another Friday has come to pass and I have not filmed anything this week because I have been flat out at school. Again, part-time day, so I can actually send my daughters in with my husband. However, I have one sick child at home. She's been sick all week and she's been sick with the same thing I've been sick with. Took her to the doctor and turns out we both have the same thing, so now we're both on antibiotics. And she's currently in bed and I have to get ready for work. However, I felt today like I needed some exercise after this crazy week. I haven't been home before 5 o'clock every day this week. Monday, my homestay student didn't finish till 5, so I didn't get home till after 5. Tuesday, my daughter was sick, so she's staying with her grandpa for the day and I had to go pick her up after school, and I had a maths PD, so again didn't get home till after 5. Wednesday, my daughter had a doctor's appointment at 5 and then the doctor ran late as usual and I didn't get to see the doctor till 5:45, and then we had to go and get the scripts, so we didn't get home till after 7 on Wednesday. And I thought for sure yesterday I would get home before 5. Nope, couldn't even do that. Got to do the groceries, took my youngest with me and we had a massive hailstorm and I couldn't leave the shops until that was done and the groceries was done, so I didn't get home again yesterday until 6. So it's been crazy and I'm really grateful for my part-time Fridays, but after all of that I've had no exercise. So this morning I actually got up and I went for a run on the treadmill. Yeah, never ever happens, but I've had that done and now I am in desperate need for coffee. So I'm off and I will see you at school. Thought I'd show you my Friday morning mug that I like to use that my kids gave me for Mother's Day, because I'm a bit of a geek. But even Wonder Woman needs her coffee. Indeed. So I'm at school. I've actually come a little bit earlier today to try and get some stuff done. And back in my maths classroom, as you can see behind me, we finally found a few quote posters just to brighten the room up a little bit. And I've actually found a whole bunch of maths quote posters that I had our teacher aide laminate and I'm going to put them up around the room. I'd also just want to show you I rearranged my classroom. I rearranged all the desks purely because the long lines just weren't working, and I just thought that having them seated in pairs actually helps them then when they do paired work. So often I'll get them to work with the person next to them and they do reciprocal teaching, which means that they have to teach each other, and it's been proven that getting kids to teach a topic actually helps them to understand far more than if they just sat there and they were lectured. The way I do this is I don't actually pair up, extension students with support students, or, I kind of just, usually it's whoever they're sitting with, or I might actually pair them up with someone who's on the same level. So I'll have 2 extension students together and I'll have, 2 support students together, or maybe some mids in between. And I'll mix them all up just to help them push that little bit further. I think often sometimes they don't want to understand something when a teacher's explaining it because they think, well, the teacher knows what they're talking about, but I don't, and I just, whatever. But if a peer teaches them, they're more likely to listen sometimes. Not always, but sometimes they go, oh, well, if my peer can do it, well, then surely I can as well. So that is why I have rearranged my room like this. And as you can see, it's also a really long room, which means that if the kids are on one side of the room, they can't see the long board, which is here. That's on the opposite side of the room, which is one of the main problems with this room. But to be honest, it's a lot better than the rooms that I've been in. So anyway, I'm going to put up my posters and then it's time for Friday morning tea. So I will see you after my maths lesson. See ya.
maths lesson is done and dusted, and it was actually a lot better than last week. The kids worked pretty hard, and I even had one sit a test, an online test that she missed last week. Something that I did do with them is today they worked in mathspace, and it's something that I'm going to show you real quick on my laptop. It's a really good integrative online resource that we use. We don't use it all the time, kind of like iExcel but better. It has a lot more features to it, and I can check a lot more stuff on it. So I'll give you a quick look at what we did today.
So this is mathspace. This is a program that Westpac Bank in Australia has been sponsoring, and we're doing a free trial for it at the moment. So this is what it looks like when you open it up, and then when we log in, now I should already be logged in, yep. This is what it comes up with first for the teacher. So this is our teacher planner, and each one of these is a task that I've set my class. So you can see when I hover over the green, it tells you the start date, the due date, what the task is, and how much participation has happened from the class and the average that they're doing. So you can see here that 100% participation, so every single student in my class has attempted it, but they've only achieved 47%. So not very many have achieved mastery, maybe one or two, which means that I need to go back over factoring numeric factors with my kids. These yellow ones down here are custom tasks, and you can see here that I've named them extension, mid, and support, because I have A students all the way through down to E students in my class. I need to be able to differentiate quite regularly. So this is one way that I do it. So I'll set an extension custom for all my extension kids, and I can set individual tasks for them. A mid custom for my middle grade kids, and a support custom for my kids who are struggling. So this is what we did today, and it was all differentiated. Anyway, so if I was to click on one of these, say for example, the extension custom, I only have a couple of students on there. I'd rather you didn't see those names, but what can you do? Let's see. Here we go. I can zoom in like this. So basically on the far left you have your students' names, which I won't show you. You have the time that they spent on the custom task. So at the top there we've got 36 minutes, so someone was mucking around a bit. 50 minutes, so someone was working on that pretty consistently. I've also got one who's only been working on there for 8 minutes, and when I called him up to ask him what was going on, he'd been doing a different task and didn't realize until very later on that he was meant to be doing this one. So these little green ticks over here, that means that the task was completed and correct. The yellow ticks mean they completed the task, it was correct, but they needed a bit of help along the way, or they did a misstep along the way somewhere, but they got there in the end. The red cross means that they didn't get it at all, and they needed to click on the help button. They either clicked all the way through, or they just did not understand it at all, in which case it flips them back to easier questions and brings them back to it after they've got a bit more understanding. So you can see how each student is doing, and if I was to click on one of my students, so this is one of my students, I can actually see you know, what topics she's done, and 100 here, the 100 here, that's mastery. She's reached mastery there. She's still working on some of these over here. And the other thing that I can see, so for example, I want to know what's gone on here with this red cross, because they've done pretty well so far. Where did they go wrong? I can click on that, and it'll come up here. These are all the questions. So green they've got right, I don't need to worry about those. Yellow, they've got there in the end, but a red one here, which is this one which we're looking at here, so they had to solve 7x minus 49 equals 4x, and I can actually go through and it shows exactly what the student has done and where they've gone wrong
all the way through, and so this student hasn't got it right at all and has ended up being given the answer because they went a little bit too far. So that is how I use mathspace in my classroom as a tool to differentiate for my students. So I mentioned this morning when I showed you my Wonder Woman cup, I'm a bit of a geek, and yeah, this kind of proves it. So it is currently 5:30 and my kids are home playing Minecraft, and I got in trouble today. My youngest one actually received a colours badge for an outside science test that she did, and she actually did really well. I was meant to go and watch the ceremony, however my oldest was sick at home and I had to stay home with her, and I forgot to tell my youngest. Bad mama. Yeah, I know, she got over it eventually, but there were tears, but you know, that's mum life. You can't win everything, you can't be everywhere all at once, and yeah, anyway, so they're busy playing Minecraft, which is another reason why she's forgiven me, because I've let them play Minecraft, which I don't do very often. Hubby is outside concreting posts, and I am just sitting, because as much as I enjoy just sitting, I don't get to do it very often. But I did want to share something that's really exciting. Me and the girls are going to the Unashamed Women's Conference at Southland Christian Centre, which is a bit exciting. That is tomorrow. It's an all-day event. Both girls get to go to the grade 2 to 6, what do they call it? There's one just for the kids, the Unashamed Young Stars Kids Conference. So they both get to go to that, while I get to go to the Grown Up Ladies Conference. I have ordered my t-shirt, which I do every year because their shirts are so comfortable and the prints on them are subtle, but I like them. So that's coming up tomorrow. So hopefully I'll be able to snatch a few moments to chat about that for the next vlog. Otherwise, I'm going to leave you there because shortly I'm going to have to go and collect my student Sky from the airport as she's coming back from her Year 9 Melbourne camp. So, I'll see you on the flip side. Bye!